It's that time of year when stores get incredibly busy and stock on the shelves needs to be constantly replenished. Well, that takes a lot of work, especially behind the scenes at the warehouse. But wait till you see the warehouse we found. It's got an army of moving shelves that know exactly where to go. It's all completely robotic. This is the warehouse of the future.
It eliminates all of the walking that a normal person would have to do in a traditional warehouse.
Robots, not forklifts, do the heavy lifting here. They can lift up to 1,000 pounds, nearly 500 kilograms. And unlike the movers in a traditional warehouse, these robots are the strong, silent type.
Hundreds of mobile robots move around in a very high-tech setting with not a lot of noise. It's a very quiet, it's almost office conversation level warehouse.
The idea is for distribution centers to catch up with high-tech shopping.
The distribution segment is growing quite rapidly due to e-commerce and other things. And labor is becoming more scarce. And so getting more out of your distribution center processes and production environment is becoming critical for these folks.
But it's also fun to look at.
When people see it for the first time, I think their impression is amazement that it works and all of this behavior is coordinated.
Here's how the robots work.
They use a suite of sensors such as inertial navigation, machine vision, what's known as dead reckoning, to move around the floor in a way that ensures that they do not collide with other vehicles.
No one agent knows how the whole thing works, but each of them know how to do their job and get the overall work done.
These are stickers that have 2D barcodes which are used by the robots to navigate through the system.
It might look like the robots followed tracks, but these are actually markings left behind by the robot's tires, kind of like snail tracks.
They follow very precise paths, as you can see by the very straight lines that they leave on the floor.
Depending on the order, a bot is dispatched to the required merchandise bin and lifts it up.
The robot picks things up and sets them down by rotating and have a counter-rotating screw coordinated in such a way to ensure that the pod does not move while the robot is rotating underneath it.
All this spinning has earned the colourful robots a nickname.
When we first started developing them, we called them Taz, like the Tasmanian devil, because they rotate on the spot.
Then the robot brings the goods to a shipper who packs custom-ordered items into boxes.
This order can be completed in a couple of minutes, no more than 10. In a traditional system, the order might have to wind its way through miles of conveyor before it's completed, and it may be in there for 4 to 6 hours before it's complete.
The system becomes more productive over time.
The more you use the system, the faster it gets. And what I mean is, if red t-shirts become popular, red t-shirts start storing themselves closer and closer to the worker. So the system is continuously adapting and tuning, and even as your customer mix changes or your product mix changes, the products will start to reslot and move themselves around the building.
It has other advantages over traditional conveyor belt systems.
If you have a conveyor-based system, if the conveyor stops, everybody on that conveyor stops working. We're using a parallel design in our system with it's very highly redundant as a result. And if a bot dies, the other bots go about their business.
The robots don't really die, but they do need to be recharged. Even recharging is automated.
You can see one of the robots is going to come over here to the charging station. It feels that it needs a little bit more juice. So he comes into the charging station. He does a self-test. He sits here for about 5 or 10 seconds to get a really good estimate of how much charge he actually has in his system. And once he's made that calculation, he will actually dock with the charger and start getting juice.
A number of retailers have expressed interest in the system. Some have even bought in.
Where we've deployed these systems, the customer's experiencing 3, sometimes even 4x productivity improvements.
And they've achieved something unprecedented.
A lot of people have talked about having hundreds of mobile robots doing work in warehouses and homes, but until our system, that has never really happened.
Move over conveyor belts
Robots are on the move.